Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm good. I just had to work. I'm trying the last few weeks. I haven't been getting good internet. And so like halfway through our recording, it shuts off and then we have to like try to remember to pick up where we were. So I'm trying a new thing. I'm at the gym because there's internet here. So we will see how that goes. But I'm just figuring out my new schedule for the summer, which is something we're going to talk about today. And I underestimated my nutrition. And I got done coaching and I'm starving and I'm not going to be home for another like hour and a half. So I went to the cafe and got a smoothie, which is delicious, but it was like $12. And so I've been working on my money and my budget. And so what I put this in my budget, what I put this under is mistakes. I have a category for my mistakes. So I don't count this as, because I do have a category for like convenience. Like if I am out and about and I like pick up something that's convenient to eat, that goes under convenience. Because that's something that I do every once in a while. And I don't want to put it under out to eat because it wasn't something I planned to go out to eat and get. I figure it's a mistake because I just didn't bring enough calories. I've been out of the house since 5:30 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I get that.
So this is my mistake, my $12 mistake. It's delicious and it'll keep me full until I get home because it has protein and peanut butter, or it's almond butter and protein something. I don't know. Do you ever get the
almond butter something?
Banana and peanut butter.
Yeah, it's a vegan option.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, but I just didn't really want to spend $12 today.
Yeah, that's expensive.
So what's your wellness win for the week?
A few. So I sent out a newsletter and I asked I don't know if I call it a wellness win, but in my newsletter, I said, what was one of your wins from the weekend? And I got 2 responses. One athlete, and it always makes me happy. I'm like, oh, at least 2 people read my newsletter.
Me too.
You just never know. And her comment back was her win was staying focused while training in a different state because she lives in Georgia, but now she's in California for the rest of the summer with her grandkids. So staying focused while training in a different state while dealing with graduation, festivities, taking care of her mom to give her sister a break. So that made me really happy just that she replied. Yeah. And then another athlete, I posted something on my Instagram story about, again, their wellness one from the weekend. And another athlete said, just trying to maintain positive attitude about her upcoming race. And my reply was good, because that's something you have 100% control over.
Yes.
So no matter what happens during the race, if you have a mechanical, bad weather, cold water, whatever the case may be, you can control your attitude. And so really that's something that everyone should focus 100% with when they go into the race season. And then something else on top of this, it was a comment from a couple podcasts ago when we were talking about women's health. And I mentioned my friend Christy gave me the book Roar by Dr. Stacey Sims. And that's kind of when I became familiar with women's health. It's different than men. Her book title is Roar, Women Aren't Small Men. And so I kind of gave her a shout out on the podcast, and she listened. At least one person listens to her podcast. And she was kind of in a slump because life was happening and she had to derail her training so much because of other important priorities in her life. And so she just told me, like, just hearing her name, we used to be, we still are close friends, but she's in Colorado. I'm in Georgia, but she's like, all of a sudden I'm motivated and pumped up to train again. And so that made me really happy. So those are just some small wellness wins. I get excited again when I'm an influence on someone else's life. That's a huge wellness win for me. So I think that definitely tops the week for me.
Yeah, and you said something. You said, "Oh, those are just small wellness wins." That's the whole idea of a wellness win, you guys. And we talked about that on our entire podcast last week was wellness wins and why they are important. So not only are they important for us, but sharing them could affect in a positive way somebody else. And like you just said, like it just that shout out got her motivated and got her excited. And then these people sharing their wellness wins makes you happy because your goal is to affect other people. And
Yeah.
so it's just like a positive circle of sharing, and it doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. Like Wendy, a couple weeks ago, she, did this huge race, or like sometimes we have these massive wellness wins. Like mine last week was really big. I got my blue belt the week before, and I got mine this week is really big. But after last week, I decided to start a wellness win streak of just, instead of like, oh, what's your wellness win for the week? I asked myself, like, what's your wellness win for the day?
Nice.
And I was going to share them to give other people ideas to think of something great that happened today. It doesn't have to be huge, something little. But I've just been kind of my first week of my daughter being out of school. She goes to summer camp. I'm coaching the kids in the mornings, and I'm attempting, which it hasn't been great so far, but I'm attempting to keep up with all my other things I was doing before the summer. Mm-hmm. And so far it hasn't really been working that well, but that's okay. But just reminding ourselves that little tiny things are the whole idea of wellness win. The wellness win is just something that for you, it doesn't even have to be, it might not be a big deal to anybody else, but for you, it could be something that is really great.
Yeah. So
my wellness win is huge, though, because it has to do with my financial goals, which I've been really focused on. And a couple days ago was May 1st. So the first of the month, June 1st. I know, I don't even know what's going on in my life. June 1st. And I was able to easily, I didn't have to, go run and scrimp and scrape and sell something. I was able to pay my rent. And for the first time, I put in $500 into my IRA, and they take that out like an automatic withdrawal. So at the first of the month, on the first, I needed money in my account for rent, my extra $500 that I haven't been contributing, my auto insurance, my renter's insurance, and my life insurance. And I had started a 529 for Cora, which it's only, I contribute $15 a month, but it's still, it's like all those added together is a pretty big chunk of money. And I had it all in my account ready on the 1st for them to take it all out. And so that was a huge wellness win.
That's awesome.
So I'm very excited about that. So that was my huge wellness win. So how is your summer? Because I feel like this is the first week, probably because my daughter's out of school for the first time this week. This is the first week I feel like it's summer. And so, how are you feeling about your summer?
I may have done a podcast like this last week at this time, changing schedules. And so, I feel like I still live by school schedules because I work with kids a lot. And so I don't have any kids myself, but kids are out of school. We transition into morning practices, and even though I'm not the head coach anymore, I'm covering for the new head coach this week. And so I've been doing practices 7 to 11, as well as my master's 2 mornings a week, 6 to 7. And so it's just been a more hectic week trying to not double book, first of all, because sometimes when I get a new schedule, sometimes I accidentally double book because I forget. I'm working, or I'm coaching the kids and I forgot about it, and we're back to morning practices. So in that covering for the head coach, that includes summer league, and I really enjoy summer league. So even though I'm stopped coaching the year-round swim teams, I asked if I could be one of the summer league coaches because we have a lot of kids and I really enjoy the 8 and unders. Believe it or not, those are the ones I'm most attractive to. And so I asked my manager if I can help out and help out, just 10 to 11 most days of the week and get these kids swimming because, they need someone in the water with them, helping them with their strokes and stuff like that. And I'm willing to do that. So it's been kind of fun. And then I'm also meeting a new athlete that hired me. I'm meeting a new athlete that hired me to teach her how to ride a bike. And so I met her probably for the 4th time today. And again, the first time we met, she really had a hard time riding a bike. And I'm just kind of thinking, I don't know how to teach someone how to ride a bike, but I do. And so we did 10 miles today and we did a transition run today together and she did really well. So it's just kind of going from, coaching 4 or 5 hours and then getting in my car, driving to the location where we're biking and getting her all dialed in and then trying to make it home for our podcast, which we're recording on a Wednesday. We usually record on a Thursday. So that's a little bit of a change. But in all these like little changes, I get a lot of energy. And because things are temporary and I know my schedule wise, it's always temporary because I own my own business and I create my own schedule. So I kind of like, even though sometimes it's a little bit more hectic and, you got to be prepared with the food and the clothing if you're going to work out and the swimsuits if you're going to get in the water and just all that. I'm feeling like I'm getting a head start in dialing that in. And I feel like I'm handling the change really well relative to other years.
Yes, that's one thing that I've noticed. And I think for me, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Having a child has forced me to be more flexible and to be more malleable and accepting of change.
Yeah.
And, in the past, I would have been, every time there's a big change, I would freak out and it would send me sky high with anxiety and overwhelm. And it would take me probably 2 or 3 weeks just to come down from that and adjust and feel some sort of normalcy. But after having a child, just things are less in my control.
Yeah.
And children are very adaptable and they change all the time. And they change they're an infant and then they're a toddler and then they're a newborn, then infant, then a toddler, and then a kid, and then they start school and then they're in elementary school. And then, so they just naturally have a lot more changes than we typically do as adults. Mm-hmm. And so I think when you're a parent, just witnessing and being a part of all those changes, that's what it did for me. It forced me to accept change a little bit better. And in doing so, I had to deal with it within myself a little bit better, or else my life would just be too much.
Right.
And so definitely having a kid has helped me with that. However, with that being said, I also this week, I am feeling super out of sorts. I have not, my house is a mess. I feel like I can't really get a grasp on anything yet, including my nutrition, which is why I had to buy my smoothie. But I know that it's going to take me a week or two, because this is my first Wednesday with this schedule. Yesterday was my first Tuesday with that schedule. The day before was my first Monday. So in 2 weeks, with Wednesday being the same schedule, I'm going to have it figured out. And once I feel like I have it figured out, that's what takes away the anxiety and the overwhelm. I remember 2 years ago in September, I started working at this gym that opened. It's one of the city of Westminster buildings called Swim and Fit. And that's where on Mondays I teach 2 classes there. And then I go over to the main Westminster fitness building and teach a class there. So Mondays, I would drop Cora off at school. I would go to Swim and Fit, teach 2 classes. Then I would go over to the City Park Fitness Center, teach a class. Then I would have a client. Then I would go pick Cora up from school. And the first couple weeks that I had that Monday schedule, I didn't bring enough food because I was gone from the house from, 7 to 3. And I had just enough food for maybe like I had my 2 shakes and a couple bars. And halfway through my classes, I was starving. And then I get frustrated and antsy and cranky and then, or I'll drink something and then I'll have to go to the bathroom. Like for the first couple Mondays, I was so anxious on Sunday. I would look at my Monday schedule and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much. Now it's been 2 years later, and up until today, up until this week, my Monday schedule was the same. And I wasn't anxious at all because I adapted to that Monday schedule. And when school starts back up in a few months, I'm going to go back to that Monday schedule. And it won't be, even though it'll be new over the past few months, because these next 3 months are going to be different. I already know that schedule. So it doesn't cause me anxiety. But my schedule this week, because it is new, it is causing me a lot of anxiety. So it's just, we talk about this all the time, that change is part of life. And if you struggle with change or if you resist change, it's just going to make your life more challenging. So what are some tips, Wendy, that you have for people who do struggle with adapting to a new schedule or a new season? It doesn't even have to be like they might not have kids, but summer is a new season. It's something different. It stays light. That's something else that's really challenging for me, is it stays light until like 9 o'clock now. So like my daughter was out playing with her friend till 8:30. And when I'm like, Cora, you got to come in, we got to go to bed. Because we have to wake up at like 5:45 in the summer. All these other kids get asleep till noon. And her friend was like, I'm going to go to the pool. Because she had another friend that was going to be at the pool till 9:30. And Cora, she got really upset. She's like, why can't I go to the pool? And I was like, we got to go to bed. Like we have to get up early. So it's really challenging for me when it's light so late, because then she's not ready for bed.
Right. I remember you mentioned that before.
Yeah.
So I think like for us, we own our own businesses. We're choosing to step into a new role with coaching, and that's summer league, summer schedule with coaching kids, adults. So we just got to remind ourselves that we don't have to necessarily take on these temporary jobs, but we do because we really enjoy it. Right. And so just speaking of tips and just acknowledging, like, I don't have to coach summer league, but I really miss the kids. I get to changing that the wording of I get to do this. I had a lot of anxiety about just this week getting into that, coaching 7 to 11. But in the end, it's the hours go by fast. It keeps me busy. It's a new routine. It's temporary. So again, reminding yourself that things are temporary. Change is fun. And we get to, just reframing your mindset. And again, like you said, preparing for it. Last night I spent an extra 15 minutes packing my car with all my bike gear that I needed to be this athlete, and packing my food, even though I had to stop at Starbucks on the way and get another snack. It was expensive. I'm like, God, things at Starbucks have gotten so expensive. I had to fuel this ride. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do this ride and be on an empty stomach. I need to eat something beforehand. Because I had some snacks, but I just didn't want the snacks I brought. I wanted more of like a sandwich, I needed something more. So, it's like, can you, if it's something something that you can't control, again, reminding yourself, I can't control this. You just got to wait it out and let it happen. Right. And then it'll be done.
Right. And I think we kind of mentioned this at the beginning about just like the positives that come out of things. A lot of times I feel like change, even if it's hard at the beginning or uncomfortable at the beginning or overwhelming at the beginning, a lot of times it ends up being something that's very positive or a good change. You just, sometimes it's hard to let go of the past things, but letting go of the past and embracing the now and embracing the change, whatever that might be, a lot of times ends up being a positive thing, even if we didn't see it as that in the beginning. And I've worked with people because I do life coaching type things with people. So not just sports coaching, but like people who are wanting to leave a job or got laid off from a job and now they don't know what to do, or they want to start their own business, or they want to have a big goal that not that has to do with sports, but a big life goal. And a lot of times you have to leave something or change something in order to make these things happen. And Wendy and I have talked about this before, but everyone has 24 hours in a day. And one of the things that's causing me anxiety, it's my choice, is I'm adding a full-time job while trying to maintain everything else I've been doing the last 9 months.
Well, and I want to add, you are, and at the same time, you're making more money. It's going to help you with your goal for 2026 is to increase your income to debt ratio.
Yes. And I already have a plan for all of that, which is also calms me when I think of the anxiety, is that since I'm keeping most of the things the same, the money I'm making for the summer is a little bit extra that I'm going to, so that every summer, this is what I do with my extra money. I either sign up for races, or I buy some equipment, or I buy something I've been wanting to buy, or I eat more food, or I go out more. And this summer, since I'm highly focused and hyper aware of my expenses, I'm using this money to kind of stash, because in the fall, I'm going to be back to making what I was making before. And that wasn't quite enough to be paying this $500 a month into my retirement.
Right.
But I can make enough money over the summer that for September, October, November, and December, I already have that $500. So I'm not scraping it around, because a lot of the debt I just paid off, and the way I'm staying ahead with everything is I've been selling a lot of things, or I've been picking up a lot of extra clients or teaching a lot of extra classes. And I can't do that as much now because of my schedule. And it's not something that I want to maintain forever, because my workouts, other than, a couple big days I had, like Memorial Day, I did like 4.5 hours. And then Sunday, I did a race that was 6.5 hours. Other than that, in between Monday and Sunday, I think I trained 1.5 total hours. So in like 5 days, because of this schedule that I'm trying to maintain. So I really feel like when I'm coming into a new season, and this is a new season, physically, it's summer, and I love summer. And we've talked about like what seasons are our favorite and what seasons are our least favorite. And summer is my very favorite season. I love it. I love the sun. I love it hot. I love swimming outside. I like when I wake up in the morning to take the dogs out. I don't have to put on a jacket. I love driving with my windows down. I just love summer. So that helps when I'm feeling overwhelmed with a new schedule, with school being out, with starting coaching summer swim team. My energy is a little bit different because it's summer. And we have our first Stroke and Stride tomorrow. And Stroke and Stride is, it's a kind of a staple in Colorado. It's been running for 20 plus years. It's a swim run event. It's every Thursday night through the whole summer. So people can come get some open water swimming in. It's a series. So if people want to compete and try to like get points in the series. And so for me, that's kind of as an athlete, that's kind of a really exciting day. It's the, season opener for our sport. And I get to see a lot of people that I haven't seen all year. So I just remind myself, like today, this whole week so far, when I haven't really gotten anything extra in, I'm just barely, like, we have a swim meet this weekend. I'm trying to put 100 kids into the swim meet. And we just started, half of them just started 2 days ago. I just remember that I love this season. I love coaching. I get to do all the things I get to do. I get to be outside. I get to, do all the things. Like Wendy said, I don't have to. And we can argue about this because I know people are like, well, I have to do this or I have to do that. Most things in life you do choose. And so just remember that you get a choice and you get to do these things. So if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anxious about a change, it could be kids getting out of school and you're like, oh, what am I going to do with my kids? You get to decide. Do you want to, bring them along with you as much as you can so you get to spend more time with them? Do you want to give them other experiences? Do you want to have them do a lot of play dates so they get to socialize a lot? Or like Cora's in a bunch of different camps this summer, so she gets a lot of really neat experiences. And I don't get to see her as much, but she's getting these really great memories and experiences at camps.
Yeah, nice.
So what else? What are your favorite and least favorite things about summer?
Summer used to be my favorite month because of the weather, and living in Georgia, not so much because of the humidity. Today was amazing. Like, we had a lot of rain over that Memorial Weekend holiday for like 6 or 7 days. And then all of a sudden I woke up this morning and it was 53 degrees out. Normally it's like 73 when I leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm going to grab a jacket. If I'm going to be coaching outside on deck, I'm going to need a jacket. And I wore my jacket until like 9 a.m. until the sun was finally over the pool deck. I took my jacket off and it was just low humidity today. And I'm like, gosh, this is Colorado weather. So, summer, like, I do like the longer days, and at the same time, I'm a morning person. So I'm still like, I still like the season where it's brightest earlier in the morning. And when we had that spring forward time change and it was all of a sudden it was so dark in the morning, I didn't like that. So I'm a morning person, so I don't necessarily need all the daylight like other people do to enjoy their outside activities because I'm a morning outside activity person. I like the equinoxes and the solstices. So the first day of summer, first day of fall, first day of winter, and first day of spring. I like those 4 key days because it's changing seasons.
Right.
So again, I'm a fan of changes. Summer, just with the weather, not my favorite weather here in Georgia. But I do like summer because I'm racing more shorter events. I kind of take a break from my trail season. I'm still doing I still have one more trail race. It's actually in July in Utah, but I'm transitioning more into my triathlon training now. So again, changing seasons, changing sport. I'm kind of going into my off season from trail running and more into my in season for triathlon training. So I like that. Again, I like changes. I like variety. I'm spontaneous like that. I like the spontaneity of stuff like that. I can't really say I dislike anything about summer. I love the green. I love the flowers. I love the birds. I love just the wildlife that's different in the summer. So, yeah.
Well, and that's a good reminder for people who just think of either the activities of the summer or with people with kids that I know a lot, because I've talked to a lot of parents over the last couple of weeks with school getting out, and it's like half and half. Half the parents are like, oh, it's going to be so stressful. I work full time. I have to find something to do with the kids all day. And then some people are like, oh, I get to be with the kids more. We get to do more things together. We get to have more experiences together. So whether you're more stressed or less stressed with kids being home, you can also just look around, like all the things Wendy mentioned with the weather and the birds and the flowers and the green and the temperature and outside activities. And like in Colorado, not that it snowed a lot this winter, but like just not having to, start your car early to warm it up, or to wipe the snow off your car, or shovel your driveway, or, you can think of little things, kind of like we talked about the wellness wins, to help you if you do struggle with this as a change, if you do struggle with this change or this season. And I think we talked about that when we talked about fall and winter. We were talking about like just thinking of the little things.
Yeah.
Because I think we
Yeah, I think like you were saying, like some people don't like snow and getting up early and having to heat their car and scrape their car off. I miss the snow. I admire snow. So
right.
I don't get to have that anymore. But yeah, again, my schedule has evolved where just the big change that happened to me in February, March, when I stopped coaching the youth swim team. That change I'm finally used to. It took me a couple months to, like I miss the kids, but I'm still there. I'm still part of it. My master's team is growing, so that's nice. I'm still part of the summer crew at Lifetime with the lifeguards and all that. And I kind of like that kind of stuff. The team dynamic of that.
So are you going to be coaching the kids like you said every day, the 8 and unders?
I'm going to do 3 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to commit to every Wednesday, but I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. Okay. And then we have swim meets on Fridays. I don't think they're going to need me for the swim meets. I'm going to the first swim meet because Lifetime Woodstock, where I work, we're hosting the first one. So I'll go to that one. But just kind of depending on, like some of the 8-year-olds, like after 3 days of coaching, we like have this bond already.
Right.
So the bond is the reason I want to like go as much as I can, because like I'm going to miss them, and they're making progress. I taught some kids already how to do butterfly, Monday when I first saw them, they couldn't do butterfly. Now they can. So that brings me joy, and I want to continue that progress with them.
Yeah. It's so funny you just said that, because I was thinking of that today, where at the beginning of the season, when I'm setting everything up for the summer, I'm like, oh, one of these days I want to pull away from coaching more and have more like hire a head coach and just run the team. But then every time I go to practice, I'm like, no, I want to be here every single day. So like 2 days a week on Mondays and Wednesdays, I leave practice early after I coach the 13 and older kids. I leave to teach my classes at the gym, and my 2 assistants stay for the 12 and under, for the 2 hours of 12 and unders. And I'm always like, oh, I always get torn. Like in the summer, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just quit everything else for the summer and just coach. But then if I do that, when the fall comes back on, and I kind of have to start all over again, like find classes that fit my schedule, that are available for me to teach, and training clients and stuff. So that's why the last couple of years I've really tried to maintain that and coach. So I think I found a decent balance. Although when I'm coaching, like you said, I get so bonded to everyone, and I feel like I am an important part of their progression. And so I want to be there for every practice. But then like today I left practice, I went and taught my class, and my class is like, oh, that was the best class. We're so grateful for you. They are, I get joy in teaching them as well. It's my older people, the functional training class. And so then I'm like, I just want to do everything, which is a really great problem to have. So yeah, go ahead. I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry. We were getting a little disconnected, but now we're connected again.
So what were you saying?
I don't remember.
I was saying that it's a good problem to have, that like when I'm with the kids, I want to be with the kids the whole time, but then when I teach my classes, it's so rewarding as well. So it's just like, it's just so many great things. And I feel really blessed that I can do all the things.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. So do you have any last minute suggestions or tips for people who are struggling with the change of just change or the change of the season?
I mean, I think acknowledge number one, what are you struggling with? And number two, why? I mean, really just stop and process what's the struggle? Why are you struggling with it? Like in order to help solve a problem or make a change, you want to know what is it that you're trying to change.
Right.
And sometimes you don't know because no one ever asks you. You just know, like, my kids are out of school, bam, that's going to change everything, So acknowledge what about your kids being out of school is causing the anxiety or is making the change. You knew it was going to happen. It's happened last year. It's coming up. What is it about those kids being out of school that's impacting your anxiety level or schedule or whatever, and trying to acknowledge that and then trying to come up with a plan to, again, make a change if possible, or accept it and enjoy it. Oh, you get to spend more time with your kids, so I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I think that's acknowledge 100%. I think the other thing I thought of when you started kind of listing some things is we mentioned this earlier, figuring out what is and what is not in your control. So like acknowledge why you're feeling this way, what the anxieties are, what you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed or frustrated or nervous or scared or fearful about. And then what about it is something you cannot control. Like maybe your job does different things in different seasons, and that's just part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't change if you, like a tax accountant, they're slammed from January to midway through April. That's just part of their job. So if you want to be a tax accountant, you have to accept that the first 4 months of the year, you're not doing the extras. You're not going on vacation with your family. You're not training for an Ironman. You're not doing all the things. Right. So, if there's something that's out of your control, you either accept it or you figure out what parts you do have control over. Like if you really hate that and it stresses you out, if you really hate your summer schedule, then you can start making changes. Like if you get really stressed out with your kids home all day, put them in a sport or put them in a camp or trade off play dates with somebody or, something like that. Like, for example, there was a family that just joined our swim team. They have 4 kids. Last year, like they have random camps throughout the summer, but as a whole, they were just home all day and they would sleep until noon. They would laze around. They would go outside and play in the afternoon. And one of the kids is in Cora's class. And I remember the first day of school last year, like all the kids were excited to go to school, but he had a meltdown and he was like crying. He didn't want to go to school. And his mom's like, yeah, we were just home all summer. Mm-hmm. So he got out of the habit of like waking up early and having to be somewhere. So then it made it really stressful to transition back to school. Right. Whereas this year they decided their whole family is joining the swim team. And so now they wake up early as a family. They all get to the pool. They all practice at different times because they're all different ages. But she's like, I think this is going to be really good because last year we just literally lazed around the house till like noon. And now we're like up and at 'em full of energy by noon. Mm-hmm. And so now when school comes around, he's already used to waking up every morning and going somewhere and doing something. And so maybe this next transition, when school starts again, it won't be so traumatic and so hard for him because they're in the habit of already getting up. So if you notice something is stressing you out or your family, like look, what changes can I make? And if you're not sure, talk to somebody. Because sometimes just saying things out loud, you're like, oh, wow, I just said that out loud. That sounded like something I can control or something that there is a solution for. So I think just not only acknowledging it, but maybe vocalizing it to somebody you trust or a therapist or a family member who might have some insight that you're not getting because you're too close to the issue.
That's a good tip.
So, yeah, love it. Did you have any athlete questions or listener questions? I just assume everyone's an athlete.
You know what, I do, but I'm just not prepared today. Just schedule change. I was kind of going from bing, bam, boom all day today. So I'm not prepared because I don't know where I saved them. I do have quite a list going. Sometimes I save them in my notes on my phone, and then sometimes I transfer them to email. I'm just not prepared in the moment.
Well, that's fine, because maybe since you have a bunch, we maybe coming up the next couple of weeks, we could do an Ask Us Anything again.
Yeah,
because I know people really like those. I don't have a question, but
they're all athletes. They're all athlete questions. That's my lifestyle. I'm around athletes all the time.
Right. I did have somebody who came to my master's today. He did his first open water swim. He's doing Boulder in a week and a half, and he just started swimming this year with masters. So he went and did at the Harvest Moon. They have a sprint for the first time this year. So he went out and did the sprint, and he did his first open water swim. And so I asked him today how it went. And he said, and I thought this was really valuable for people who are beginning swimmers who are going out to do a triathlon and they're really scared. He said, at least I know I won't die because I could just lay there and float in my wetsuit. So he hadn't ever swam in a wetsuit before. And he's in the pool where, a lot of beginner swimmers, especially men who are a little more dense, their legs kind of drag on the ground. Like no matter how much they're pushing on their chest and putting their head in, they just, some of them, their legs are a little lower. And you throw on a wetsuit and your whole body just is buoyant on top of the water. So if you're listening out there, you're newer to triathlon, you're newer to swimming, you're nervous about your first open water swim, just know if it's wetsuit legal, definitely put on a wetsuit because you'll feel a lot more confident. Your body position will be a lot more streamlined so that swimming will be much easier for you. So that was coming from someone who he was a little worried a couple months ago that he wasn't going to make the cutoff. And now he's actually really confident.
Good. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So what are you most excited for this upcoming week?
I'm running a 10K. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since last year. So I think my last 10K was last August. So I'm running the Big Run 10K, which is my 4th year doing it. The first year I ran it, or I walked it, 10 weeks after my patella surgery. I walked it. I got last. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was so hard.
I walked
the 5K last. The next year I ran the 5K. I won it. The next year I ran the 10K. They added a 10K. And so I'm doing the 10K for the second time. I think this is the 4th year I'm doing it. It's to celebrate Global Running Day, which is today when we're recording this podcast. Happy Global Running Day. So this weekend is the Global Running Day. It's called the Big Run. So I'm excited to do that. Just be around people, get that energy back. Road running. I'm more into road running right now. And then like my non-athletic, looking forward to is probably just chilling with my husband this weekend.
Ooh, that's nice.
He's running the 5K. So I'm doing the 10K, he's doing the 5K. So then we'll just kind of hang out together the rest of the weekend. That's always fun.
I love it. I had to sit on my swim bag because I'm sitting on a tile floor and we've been here for almost an hour and I'm like, my butt bones are hurting. So I'm sitting on my swim bag. It's actually really comfortable. I'm actually excited about a lot of things like Stroke and Strides tomorrow. I'm doing this functional training clinic tonight at Hotworks. I'm excited about, but what I'm most excited about is we have our first swim meet on Saturday. We have 97 kids registered. I'm still working on relays. I haven't even really started relays. I just got their individual events out. But the first swim meet, it's always exciting. The parents are always like shocked because kids, it's funny. If you guys have kids, you know this, like at practice, if they're in a sport that they're new at, they're kind of like figuring it out, kind of lazy. And then when they get to the game or the race, they're like, a lot of kids turn on that competitive juice.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it because like kids I'm just excited to see where they're all at and watch them like surprise themselves. And like we give, because some of the, like our 8 and unders, I don't know how yours, our team, we have like 140 kids. I would say that's in the middle of the league. There's 11 teams in our league. Half of them have more, up to like 250. Half of them have less, down to maybe like 40 or 50. But no matter what, there's always like 6 heats of 8 and under 25 free. And so we give heat awards. So they get a otter pop if they win their heat. And so there might be somebody who just has never really won anything. Maybe they're a beginner swimmer and they win their heat and they're just like so excited to get their otter pop. And it really motivates them to like want to swim harder at practice. So I'm just really excited about our first meet.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I know it'll be fun. So we would love to hear what you guys are excited about for your summer, for this upcoming change of seasons. And if you have any questions, we will be doing an Ask Us Anything. We could do Ask Us Anything athlete version since we're both coaches and we just always get athlete questions. So definitely send us your questions. It could be private message. You can post them on social media. We'll see them. We'll find them somewhere and we'll get your guys' questions answered. Any final words, Wendy?
No, other than make it a great day.
Make it a great day. Thanks for being here, you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes.
We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review.
And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week.
Thanks for listening.
Make it a great day.